Okay, so this is a beginning of a more advanced workflow around using Bentley's AEC AECOsim is what they called it. It's AECOsim is the name. It's actually just the architectural vertical on MicroStation. We decided to buy a couple licenses on the project because we knew this workflow would come into play. Right now, I'm only showing how to import the meshes, but we have a workflow from um, moving from Revit to AECOsim to enable the contextual use of the models. Uh, so it's a little bit more advanced. Not everybody's going to have this on their computer. We're going to have to buy more licenses, but I want to make sure people just have a flavor of what the workflow looks like. If looks like it crashed on me, I'm going to pause for a second. I killed it wrong in a weird way the last time I started. So it's up and running. There's a different set of UIs. Like if you actually start it, you might get something look like this. It's sort of a community thread. Um, and some demo videos, but if you actually want to just start working on something, you go to here. So MicroStation's a pretty uh, powerful tool, but it's got a lot of complexity. So what I'm going to actually do is just set up an individual file, uh, and it sort of works like it works quite like AutoCAD and somewhat like Rhino and a few other tools mixed together. It's sort of powerful that way. But so I'm going to go ahead and make a new file. MicroStation, when you make a new file, always uses a template, so I'm going to just use this design seed, and for this demo, I'm going to dump it in a similar folder where I did a demo previously. So oh, I forgot to do this part where I do that. So you have to save the file before you're actually able to do anything. It's just telling me I'm not connected to their online service. So, key things about MicroStation. It's geographically aware, so it actually can use coordinate systems, which is a very nice thing because we have a lot of coordinate data. You can give it a whole bunch of different file types. I don't want to show this again. Um, and you can display them. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually go under the home menu, and this is sort of basically you have different interfaces. I'm in modeling right now, but it doesn't quite matter for this workflow. I'm going to go under attach and a reference, and I'm going to reference an OBJ that I created earlier in this workflow. So meshes, simplified, speakers dining room. I'm going to grab this folder, and I can change this. You can see it. You can reference a whole bunch of stuff in here. But I have to be able to see, just say all files. You can actually reference the images, but I'm going to just select these meshes. And these are simplified. And so what it's going to just go do is process these and give me a dialog for each one. And so these are actually going to be located in their default location. I'm just going to click OK and either one of these. If we set up a real file to illustrate this workflow, I think we'll end up having to do some custom stuff. Um, but so load the first one, load the second one. Now these guys are referenced, and I'm just going to expand this out. So if you're unfamiliar with MicroStation, you do just like fit to view or zoom area, because these are now a distance from the origin. They're way over here, so I'm just going to do zoom in this way. And you can see these meshes have been simplified, but you can start to see how it all comes together. Display-wise, we're seeing all the edges, which is very messy, and so we just want to turn them off. So the place we do that is this. There's view attributes and display style. So MicroStation has a ton of capability of customizing the display. What I've found works is illustrating without lighting, and then you select it and you have to pick the view to apply it to. So that's good, but now we want to get rid of the edges. So what I do is go in here, illustrate without lighting, and say, I don't want to show the edges. And there you go. Now we have, these meshes quite simplified, but you can see the photos, it's navigable. And the nice thing about this is you can actually put them in, start to create drawings. You can contextualize other models in here and so on. So if I were to go to view, and always takes me a second to get reoriented. There's this bar here. I can go to extra wide camera, or go back to something like this. But what I'm looking for is this guy. So you can see I navigate around, and this is going to be the only challenge, is everybody's got to sort of learn how to navigate these things, but you can see it actually performs well. So what I think we'll end up doing is making, the word for it is decimated copies of these, which are simplified meshes. And you can see you'll lose detail in the mesh, but the photos themselves tell the story in a very nice way, where you can sort of navigate in this space and sort of occupy it, if you will. And again, you can use these in a drawing in context with a model or a point cloud. Point clouds is another discussion. To get point clouds in here, we need to convert them to another format from which we were given them. So there's an exercise to do that as well. So that's it from now. I don't know, I guess maybe before I go, I'll show another set of display styles so you get example of, different kinds of things we can represent these as. So it's not just this, sort of real only. But again, any one of these we can turn off the display style, or play to turn off edges. Yeah, if we're gonna go in here, and I think we're in smooth. And actually, we're not displaying edges; we're just displaying shadows. But you get the idea. So I'm just gonna go back to. I don't need to do that. I'm just gonna do ignore lighting. And again, I don't know the difference between ignore and without, but you can see it actually represents quite nicely. And when these are been shrunken meshes, so the meshes themselves aren't big, but the textures do a nice job, you can actually navigate quite well. So I think the goal will be to build a file like this that links them all in, and it'll all be spatially related to one another, and so you can actually see those together. That's it for now. Thanks.